sounds that I just kept doing it, and my students thought I was crazy. So this is an elementary book, which means it starts with the basics. So for example, colors and the alphabet, basic phrases, saying hello and what's your name, and then it gradually goes to the harder vocabulary or grammar, so country names, nationalities, personal pronouns, possessives, letters. So, it's just the basics. I actually really like this book because although I don't agree with everything, I mean the structure of the book, for example, I don't like it that usually, for example, when we learn about comparative adjectives, we learn the positive form, the comparative form, but the superlative form only comes 3 units later. So I think it's better to learn positive, comparative and superlative forms all together than to just learn the first 2 and then later learn the 3rd one. But there's no book that's completely, my style, so I guess the teacher is free in a way to modify the book or teach things differently. This is just the basis on which we can teach. But at the end of each unit, there's a language summary, or as one of my students likes to call it, the language samurai. So basically a review of all the vocabulary and grammar, and then we usually write a test. So that's it. So this is the elementary book. I also have a pre-intermediate group. They use another book, which is Total English, and this is pre-intermediate, but they also have an elementary or a beginner book and an intermediate and so on. This is from Pearson Longman, and basically they have each unit and they talk about what the grammar points are, what the vocabulary speaking is about, and of course you also have a CD at the back, which is actually not a CD but a DVD, and it causes me a lot of problems because my laptop's DVD player is not working, so I cannot use this DVD. I like the Total English books too. Usually in the beginning, the title or the topic of the unit is written here, and there are 4 pictures to help you get into the topic or to raise questions or to help students talk about the different pictures which are connected to the topic. And I'm very fortunate because most of my students are very talkative and very motivated, and they want to share their opinion, so I usually don't have to try hard to motivate them to talk about these photos. Then there's the new vocabulary, usually some questions to help you talk about the topic. Then there's usually a reading and some exercises connected to the reading, and then on the other page there's the grammar point, which is something. So here it's about likes and dislikes. So for example, love, hate, use ing forms after it. There's usually a pronunciation part. I don't really like teaching pronunciation because usually in these books they teach British pronunciation, and I don't think we should limit our students to the British pronunciation, and I don't think it's something that we have to try really hard to teach our students, but that's just my opinion. I try to teach them the correct pronunciation, but I don't really train them to be exact in the intonation of the sentences or stress, because it depends. Sometimes there are, sometimes in American and British English the pronunciation is different, so I don't really, I don't want them to choose. I mean, I want them to choose which pronunciation they want to learn, the American or the British. Oh look, there's a picture of Valentino Rossi. He's my favorite, by the way. I like this book because it's modern, so it tries to mimic emails and websites and stuff like that. At the end of each unit there's a communication page, which is all about using the previously learned vocabulary and grammar in speech, and then the things that you learn throughout the unit are all together on this reference page, and then the next page is a review and practice page, and after that of course there's a test again. So I really like this book too. Before teaching at the school where I am now, I haven't heard about these books, but when I was still learning English, I learned from other books like Headway and Project English. So these books are new, or at least newer than the books that were available 15 or 20 years ago when I was learning English. So now there's a bit more variety, which is good. So the last one is this magazine, which is from the Dutch airport. I hope I pronounced the name right, but I think it's Schiphol Airport. And this is a free magazine. I just picked it up because I had some time in between flights, and I actually really like this magazine because it also shows the mentality of the Dutch people, I think. The airport is kind of hippie-ish in a sense, because it's not really the same as most airports are. It's not really the white and clean looking airport. I mean, it looks clean, but it looks more characteristic. It has more personality. And what I really like about this magazine, that it's really about the people who travel through the airport. It really wants to know about you, and it's not just full of advertisements. Of course there are advertisements and articles, but also I'll show you. Where is it? There's an article. Oh, that's a nice picture. There's an article about people. So it says more than 100,000 passengers pass through Amsterdam airport every day. how she carries stuff or how she travels. I really like it. That's something about snow, because I was in Korea last time in January. So this magazine is from January, so it was still winter. Dragon Island. Wow, it's a nice picture. Yes, this is what I would like to do. Just swim in the ocean or sea and not having to study for my exams. Okay, and because it's winter, so this is, it says it's about Ischgl, which is the Ibiza of the Alps. And all of the articles are in English and in Dutch next to each other. I can understand Dutch when it's written down because it's like a mixture between English and German. So when I see it written down, I understand it mostly, but when I hear it spoken, it sounds different. So I cannot really understand it when I hear it, but when I read it, I can understand. Oh, a nice picture for you guys. I'm not a big winter sport fan, so I don't really enjoy skiing or snowboarding. I'm more of a summer fan. Oh, the style of St. Moritz. G-Shock watch. Wow, furry boots. I don't really like those, but I like this and these, but these trousers remind me of my father's working clothes when he's working outside.